Strap on your thinking cap. Socially conscious talk that's entertaining with a dash of humor and the top sports stories of the week. It's time for Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J.
Sellers has Jordan. Jordan with 2 seconds to go. Puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Michael Jordan has won it for Chicago. Manning lobs it. Burris alone. Touchdown, New York.
Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. He hits one deep to right center. That ball is out of here. The Yankees win the pennant.
If you're lying, then you must be half stepping. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Back once again for a live show. Be down with us tonight, 804-402-2893. 804-402-2893. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the den, y'all. LegacyInternetRadio.com. Wholly owned and run by the crew of Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J. Definitely glad that you guys are here with us tonight. We got a live show. Of course, if you know us, you listen to us every single week here on LegacyInternetRadio.com and MixLR. You know we always have a nice planned show. But, of course, if you're watching the television today, you know that sometimes your plans will have to be changed and altered. So we will certainly get into a little bit of what we saw go on in Boston today, but definitely want to hold to our agenda. We don't want to have the show be a somber show, but we would be remiss in our duties as a socially conscious and entertainment show without actually getting into what went on today. Was it a terrorist attack? Was it domestic terrorism? Was it an inside job by the United States government? I've had various people ask me that each of those questions today, and we're going to get into it. But definitely going to hold on to that. We'll talk about that in the Socially Conscious and Entertainment Hour later on in the show. As we do every single week, we start off with our sports roundup. So we got a couple of things that we're going to get into with that. With, of course, today being Jackie Robinson Day around Major League Baseball, we definitely are going to be talking a little bit about blacks in baseball. And we're going to talk a little bit about the controversy in Augusta yesterday with the Masters. We don't have K-Dub today, but we're definitely going to talk a little bit about the NBA. So hang in there with us. We got a live show, and I appreciate everybody for listening to us on LegacyInternetRadio.com, y'all. We live from the den. We also on MixLR, so we appreciate it. We got a couple of special guests in the building we're going to introduce momentarily. We don't have Big Rule. I don't know that anybody's sad about that, except for maybe Big Rule. But of course, a mainstay, half stepping with Marcus J. On my right side, my main man Carlton Banks is in the building. What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. I'm doing good. Trying to get happy given some of the circumstances that just went on. So, it's all good today.
It's all good. Well, I appreciate it. I tell you what, let's move around the room and let's talk to another special guest we got in the room. We got my main man, JR, in the building. What's going on, brother?
Ain't nothing much, man. Just happy to be off and happy to be here and run my mouth a little bit today.
Run your mouth. You're a Miami Heat fan, so you're definitely going to have an opportunity to run your mouth. So also joining us in the den live from Legacy Internet Radio, joining us for the very first time, we got a friend of the show. My personal friend, Miss Unique, is in the building. What's going on, girl?
Peace.
How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
We're doing fabulous. It's good to see you. Thank you for joining us on Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J. We talked about doing this a lot over the last year or so since we've been doing the show, so we finally had an opportunity to do it. So I appreciate you being here.
Likewise.
All right. Well, let's jump into it, y'all. Today, of course, I'm going to come to you on this one first, Carlton. Today, of course, being Jackie Robinson Day around Major League Baseball. When you think of Jackie Robinson, you think of Major League Baseball. What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Number 42 is retired from any Major League Baseball team. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Second thing that comes to mind, I was talking to my dad last night, and we need to give notoriety to the first black American League player. And, sad to say, I can't think of the dude's name. I don't follow baseball enough to really remember him, but he should be remembered just as well because he broke that barrier on that side of the fence. Still, black men involved. It's all good. I love it.
If you give me a minute, I'll think about it. I can't remember
You told me yesterday. That's
Is
how
Larry,
bad it was.
Larry somebody? I'm going off at the top of my head, but give me a minute. I'll figure it out. JR, Jackie Robinson Day, number 42. What's your thoughts, man? You see the movie? You plan on seeing the movie?
I do plan on seeing the movie. Thoughts on Jackie Robinson? Everyone has to be the first to do something. Couldn't imagine being in his shoes, but definitely thankful that, it was him. Somebody with, the courage to go through what he went through, obviously. So, the rest of us can enjoy, something that we take for granted.
What's your thoughts on, and Unique, I'll ask you the same question. I don't know if you're a baseball fan or not, but socially conscious, that I do know that you are. When you see a day like today being Jackie Robinson Day, it's 1947, so someone help me with my math. That sounds like 60 plus 65, 66 years since black men have been able to play Major League Baseball. Now, of course, there's been studies that the amount of black men playing baseball have been on the decline. So when you think about Jackie Robinson, what are you telling your family, your children about him?
I just give them a brief understanding of history. I'm not really into sports, so I can't.
Well, the thing is,
Even on a kickball team.
Oh, I ran track.
Oh,
I'm a track star.
So you're into sports, man.
I'm a track star and a dancer.
So I guess if we asked her about Jesse Owens, she could probably tell us a little bit about him.
Every woman knows a little bit about sports. They just don't know how to admit it.
A little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So JL, let me ask you this, man. What sport did you grow up like when you was a kid? Like, what was that sport that you was like, word, when it came on TV? Not necessarily playing it because, we would play as young boys. We probably would have played anything that they would give us a ball to play. But, what was your thing like when you were coming up? What was your thing?
I actually didn't like to watch sports on TV. That included football. It wasn't until, I would say probably about 10 or 11, I started getting into it. But before that, I actually hated watching it. I hated when my brother put it on TV, and we had to share a TV in a room. So, I really didn't like
you were the baby
it
brother
at all.
Were you the baby brother?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just kind of went with the flow. But football has always been, that sport that I like to play most. So when it came time for actually watching sports on TV, it naturally was football first. Baseball to me, as far as watching it on TV, seems slow.
Right.
I've never actually been to a game. I'm supposed to go to a Squirrels game this Thursday.
Right.
But haven't actually been to a game, so I'm told that, in person it's actually a lot better. So
I guess the reason why I want to bring it up is not so much for the sporting aspect, Carlton. It's more so the social aspect. When you look around Major League Baseball today and you see that the numbers are declining, whereas 50 years ago, there was any number of black men prominent, in the sport, and they were the main figures that you would think of. You had Jackie Robinson, you had Hank Aaron, you had Frank Robinson, Willie Mays. That's just me off the top of the head before I even really got into it. And that's 40s, 50s. We haven't even gotten into the 60s and 70s. We start talking about Vida Blue and Reggie Jackson and cats like that. When you look around neighborhoods today, I think one of the things that you notice is that you don't see full baseball fields, Carlton. I think you see full football fields, and I think you see full basketball courts. Do you see any correlation to that versus what you're seeing in Major League Baseball today?
Unfortunately, I can't agree with you. Where I am, there are 3 baseball fields right behind my neighborhood.
Who's out there?
Everybody. Girls, boys.
Black boys?
Yeah.
A lot?
I can't say that.
What are they doing?
I haven't seen the whole field. But
Doing what?
They're playing baseball.
Really?
They're playing T-ball, yeah.
Well,
but to answer, again,
you understand where I'm going.
Saying,
so you playing semantics with me, which you like to do a lot.
I always will.
Where I grew up in Jersey City, New Jersey, we had plenty of basketball courts, and we had plenty of football fields, and we had 2 or 3 baseball fields.
Right.
I grew up, just naturally I was drawing baseball, but none of the kids in the neighborhood were. When I wanted to go play baseball, they all wanted to go play basketball. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of where I'm getting at. It's not something that is, I guess, kind of trumpeted through the kids, which is the reason why generations later, like now, you know, you don't necessarily have it. I think, to be honest with you, I mean, you got this kid, Jackie Bradley Jr., which is from right here in Prince George, playing for the Red Sox. But I really do think in about another generation or so, you might not see any brothers at all, and the numbers are slowly declining, JR.
You know, I don't know. A lot of young kids that I see, they do actually like to play baseball. I just think when it comes time to choose that sport that you're going to make a career out of, they tend to go to a football or basketball because it's more high profile. You hear more about basketball and football than you do baseball.
Right. You see the tennis shoe commercial. That's what
it is. And they go for the endorsements. But when you actually look at it, baseball, they make way more money.
Oh yeah, they make more.
Like they was talking about a pitcher that hurt his shoulder, I guess, doing a brawl on the mound.
Yeah.
And he had like $100 million contract.
Gosh, what's the kid's name? I can't remember his name, but the Dodgers kid,
right?
The little guy that went after the big guy ended up with the broken collarbone.
But see, you know, I guess it's just more of an exposure where you can, you know, get more TV time.
Well, I think it's a social thing. Carlton may disagree with me, and that's fine for him. But I think it's a social thing. The fact that, you know, kids look on television, and you don't see a lot of glamorous black baseball players.
No.
But you see LeBron, and you see Kobe. At least you used to see Kobe, which we'll get to that shortly. You see LeBron, you see Kobe, you know, you see Carmelo Anthony, who does have the highest selling jersey in the National Basketball Association. I will say that. But, you know, and then in the NFL, you see cats like Ray Lewis and stuff like that. And the more prominent players are RG3. I saw you giving me the face, JR. I didn't forget your Redskins, and of course for Carlton Banks over there, DeMarcus Ware. But seriously, you know, I think that's a big part of it. So I don't want to belabor the point, but I felt like with it being Jackie Robinson Day, that it was certainly worth mentioning that on the anniversary of the first black man to be allowed to play in Major League Baseball, and him ushering in a boom of brothers playing. Now here we are, you know, 66 years or whatever it is. I'm terrible with math. 1947. So somebody do that math for me. You see that the numbers are slowly declining from its peak in the 60s and 70s to now, I believe at its low. The lowest it's been since the early 50s. So just worth talking about. Let's move on in the sports roundup. Last thing I want to get to in this segment, and then we'll come back from a break and we'll get into the National Basketball Association. I'm not a fan of golf, y'all. I'm gonna just put it out there. I am not a fan of golf. I could give a damn about golf. I think it's probably one of the most boring things that you can watch on television is golf. But, you know, I spent all day listening in to sports radios. Kid in New York was talking about how it was one of his, you know, great highlights. And Mike Greenberg of Mike and Mike actually said this morning that he would prefer to watch the final day of the Masters over watching any other sporting event, period, including the Super Bowl, NBA Finals, World Series, WrestleMania. I mean, he would rather watch the final day of the Masters. I was like, dude, you really need to find something else to do. But anyway, the point I wanted to bring up, Carlton, I'll come to you on this one first. Apparently, golf is an integrity sport.
Right.
It is a sport that you keep your own score.
True.
It is a sport where you mark your own marks. If you go into a bunker, or if you go into the woods, or if you go into the water, you know, you are allowed to mark your own spot coming out of there.
True.
Are we together so far?
We're there.
All right. Apparently, when Tiger Woods, Eldrick, I like to call him Eldrick, when Eldrick went into a bunker, which is his name. His name is Eldrick. When he went into a bunker or water or whatever it was, he came out and he put it apparently about 2 feet or 2 yards or whatever it was ahead of where it should have been coming out of that water. Behind coming out of that water. And a viewer, this is somebody watching, this is Friday, a viewer is the one who spotted it and called up the Masters and reported it. And apparently they were already in the process of, looking into it anyway. But this is a viewer who called to check it out. And then Tiger, of course, admits it. And people were hollering for him to disqualify himself. Because, again, integrity sport, you disqualify yourself. So I'll ask you this, Carlton. We know that you're a football fan. We know football for you comes first.
True.
How do you feel about you as a Dallas Cowboy fan and me as a New York Football Giants fan watching the game together from the J House, seeing something that we don't like, picking up the phone and calling in, let's say Fox Sports. Let's say we call the phone, sit next to Troy Aikman, and he picks it up and says, Fox Sports, how can I help you? And we say, we don't like that spot. How do you feel about that, man? And I'm saying this in a very sarcastic way for a point.
I know you
to
are.
Make a point.
I know you are. Coaches get that flexibility to make that phone call. We don't get the ability to make that phone call. So, in some respects, they get that with instant replay. However, in this case, Tiger kind of like knew the situation. And the fact of the matter is, he cheated himself. Okay? It'd be different if he moved the ball in front of where he hit it, but he moved it behind it.
Well, apparently his logic for doing that was because he was looking to get a better shot, not so much closer, because 2 feet, 2 yards. I mean, what's the difference when you're a world-class golfer? Again, I don't care about golf. S.Y. Butler, she's listening to us, and S.Y. Butler says golf is boring. Girl, I agree with you. It is boring as hell. But for me, it was more about the weirdness of a fan, because apparently Tiger wouldn't. I mean, he said something when he was interviewed about it, and I don't know if he knew about the fan at that moment. But this is a sport, JR, where the fans watching on television could call up and say, I ain't like that, fix it.
I still say, I think it was, hold on, I didn't mean to cut you off, JR, but it may have been, one of the side officials or side judges or somebody who was there, because they're supposed to have officials all over the course.
I got you, but that's not the point I'm
going at. I know what you're
at.
saying. Somebody squealed on them, right?
Well, somebody snitched, yeah. But how fair is, and I ask Unique this question. I know you're not into golf, and neither are we, but I'm going to ask you just a general question. When you look at golf, and anybody who is paying attention to pop culture in the last 15 years, you know that Tiger Woods the most popular golfer in the world, regardless of his indiscretions a couple years ago, right? Do you think it's fair for the person who's on television more than anybody else to get called out like that? I mean, am I tripping? I mean, tell me if you think I'm tripping. I mean,
yeah, I think you're tripping.
You think I'm tripping? Please tell me why you think I'm tripping.
I mean, the game is the game. Right is right. Wrong is wrong. I mean,
all right. Now I know that you're not into sports, but I'm gonna say it to you in a language that you can understand me here. All right. Let's say that you are running in the Olympics, okay, and you just won the gold medal, right? Mm-hmm. And then you had a viewer call up and say, "Nope, I'm sitting here at home. I watched the replay 5 times on my DVR. Unique ran just a half a second before the sister next to her. Not fair. Make her give back that goal. Would that be fair?"
Nope.
So it's okay for them to call out Tiger, someone who, a viewer. This is somebody who ain't even there. Like Carlton said, JR.
I would like to call the NFL and have that tuck rule reevaluated.
They took that out.
They got rid of it.
They got rid of it.
Right.
Yeah, they got rid of it.
But the thing is, it's ridiculous to say that a fan can call up and insinuate themselves in a game that they themselves probably know only what they've done in casual golfing or casual football or what have you. But I just think it's ridiculous. I mean, she's right. Right is right. Wrong is wrong. Disqualify yourself. But I mean, he moved himself back, and I know golf can be about angles.
Well, that's what
even
it was.
Moving it back, he might have been on a better angle.
Well, that's what it was. Because when in the interview, that's exactly what he said. That's why Butler's correcting herself. She actually does like golf. Initially, she said she didn't. She's correct. She does like golf, and it's not boring. Girl, it's boring as hell. I'm sorry.
Golf is fun to play. I can watch it for a little while. I can't watch more than like an hour though.
I mean, I just, to each his own, to each his own, but I never got into it. It's one of those rich people sports, in my opinion. I know a lot of people who played professional basketball and semi-pro and things of that sort. Not just looking at Michael Jordan, like, you know, talking to K-Dub and knowing a lot of the people that he knows, and even being around him. Those guys got to have some kind of way to get the competitive juices out of their spirit. Right. And when you get up to be about our age, late 30s, and in some cases early 40s, Colin Banks, you have,
I ain't gonna talk about it.
you have to acknowledge that your body ain't gonna do what it used to do for you, right? But your mind is still the same, and in some cases your mind is even better, right? So if you still got them competitive juices, what you gonna do? You gonna play basketball and twist a knee and be out for 6 months instead of 6 weeks like you were when you were young, or you gonna walk your ass up the green with somebody carrying your bag with a little tiny car from spot to spot and still get your competitive juices out. So in that instance, I guess I get it. But Colin, you laughing at me. What you got, man?
I mean, my biggest thing is, how come the amateurs get to drive around in a golf cart, whereas professionals get to drive around and don't get to drive around?
No, I mean, I guess it matters. I guess it don't matter. I mean, if you got money, you ain't walking.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
If you got money, you walking if you want to walk.
If you're the professional, you don't have a cart. You don't get a cart. You have to walk it. That's one of the things about.
I didn't know that. You just
have to walk, and it's part of the sport to walk to the hole, walk to the next ball. You have yet to see anybody in the cart, have you?
Last thing on the Masters was the 14-year-old Asian kid who made the cut. I think he was the youngest ever, JR.
Yes, he was.
And he took a 1-stroke penalty for taking too damn long. Fair or not fair?
Fair.
I agree.
You take too long, man. Don't hold up the game. Golf is slow enough.
Unique, fair or not fair?
Fair.
Carlton?
Absolutely, positively fair.
Absolutely, positively fair.
He was good enough to make it.
Right. Hurry up.
I agree that if you're gonna be out there, then you gotta be able to do what you gotta do. Ain't no half stepping, Marcus J. We're gonna take our first break of the night, and when we come back, we got the National Basketball Association. We're gonna do some quick hits on that, and then we will get into the events of the day. We got What the Hell. We got a live show for you. Marcus J and I Step. We'll be back in a minute.